at the Indiana Thoroughbred Owner and Breeders Association Year-End Awards for 2025. We're here with Dan Spears, the president of ITOBA. I know he's been having a pretty stressful week trying to get all this put together. A lot of, the awards were phenomenal. I'd say it's probably some of the best awards, trophies and stuff that any regional program gives out. So what's really your role as president of ITOBA?
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, we trying to move things forward, trying to like we talked about in the awards banquet, like our yearling sale, which is now we can say is a mixed sale. So that's one of our big things that we're pushing. Just trying to do things. I say move forward, trying to progress the better. Yeah, trying to better our organization. Of course, we represent breeders, owners, and stallion owners. So our big deal is the breeding.
Right.
We represent the breeding, so that's our main focus.
So what stirred you to get into the thoroughbred industry from the beginning?
Well, I can go back at 10 years old. I had my first picture in the winner's circle. My dad had me in over at Turfway, which it wasn't Turfway at the time. It was Latonia.
Yeah.
So now I'm dating myself. But anyway, it started then. My dad was always in it for a long time, and I just stayed in it.
So you're second generation?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're technically,
I don't know if I count as second generation.
No, because we did it from the very beginning as a duo, even when you were at 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not second generation. I'm first generation.
And that is one thing that's kind of neat about Indiana and actually the thoroughbred industry as a whole. It ends up being a family, a family involvement. If you're in breeding, the family is all in breeding. And
Yep.
if you're in racing, you look at Bruce Murphy, the number of people from his family that are heavily involved and excited over the awards he got.
Right.
So, how long have you been president of ITOBA now?
2 years. This coming year will be the third.
Yeah, and believe it or not, he didn't have any gray hair before he took the position.
Well, and part of it too is I love the thoroughbreds. I love the racing, the breeding. Early on I was into racing more than breeding, but we got into breeding and we love it. And so I wanted to be part of an organization, and I got with Bruce Murphy.
Yep.
And Bruce introduced me and said, "Hey, would you join?" So I got into it, and then I don't know. I love doing the ITOBA things. I mean, we're pretty into everything. It's very challenging.
What are some of the new things for 2026 other than going from a yearling sale to a mixed sale? I'm kind of leading you to one particular one, the ITOBA Stallion Season Auction Stakes. What's new for those two stakes races coming in 2026?
Well, once again, it's another trying to move our organization forward, and we've increased those two stakes to $125,000 each, and that's really it's what we want to do, because the majority of our money is used for stakes,
right?
Used for the program. So everything's volunteer. So that's part of that. And with it being at 125, our goal is to get to 150 and then maybe 175.
Yeah.
Right.
So again, that's part of what I try to do is lead our organization to, hey, we got to think of ways to get there, because I think those are very big goals.
One thing that I've noticed is Now, granted, I was a kid, but I've grown up around ITOBA. Dad's been in and out of it for the better part of 2 decades now. And one thing I really appreciate is how much you are really championing a community of bringing new people into the board and really making it open to more than just a select few. And, what is some challenges that you experience as the president, or what are some of your goals to bring more people into ITOBA or to make them more aware that ITOBA even exists?
Well, even on that, yeah, our board is, I would say, out of the 11, we have maybe what I would say 4, if you want to say originals.
Yeah.
Not really originals, but the older group, right? So our board is fairly new. The other 7 is quite new. Now they've been in horse racing or breeding,
Yeah.
but yeah, we've gotten quite a few there. And I think also what we're trying to do is we had a little contest.
Yep.
And the contest was, hey, get your picture taken in the winner circle, right? So kids and adults, right? They love that.
Yeah,
if they've
absolutely.
never owned a horse or anything, they think, oh, wow, we get in this picture. Well, that picture, what we've done is got them to sign up. We get emails, and that's another avenue. We probably now have 400 or 500 emails.
Oh, wow.
And we're trying to bring them in.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
That's kind of that was another one of the programs that we wanted to do.
That's awesome. And, I have quite a bit of experience in new owner acquisitions, but I think it's really important to bring in those new people because you never know, these people may have that one experience that makes them want to do this for the rest of their life. And it's all about giving them that one experience. So I love that contest idea.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, just that, bringing new people in. Man, you get that first win or,
that first baby.
The first baby, that's right. Absolutely. There's nothing more gratifying than, getting that first foal.
First homebred.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're hoping with that little contest. Yeah.
And ITOBA, Indiana Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association, is really here, to support, that's the organization that if you are wanting to become a breeder and you know nothing about it, there is a whole community that can, give you information and teach you.
Can guide you, yeah.
You don't just breed any mare. You breed, these are the things you're going to look for in a mare to be able to have a successful foal, or the best possible chance at a successful foal. Or they can say, I want to be in racing, and ITOBA can say, hey, here's these trainers and these other owners that you can talk to that have been successful, not only in Indiana, but maybe even, throughout the country, and be the mediator to open your opportunities to be able to get involved in the thoroughbred industry as a whole, let alone just the Indiana thoroughbred industry as well.
So I'm going to ask both of you this, since you both are on the board. Why an Indiana bred? Why breed in Indiana?
I think I'll let Dan go first because mine's going to be a little different than everybody else.
Well, one, I was raised in Indiana, so I want to stay here. I don't really looking to move.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal. And our program is, I think, very good.
Yeah.
We have good breeding program. And it's funny because just this past year, the stallions that we are having now is, I think, phenomenal for the state.
Yep.
I know they're not the top tier, but for Indiana, they're very nice stallions.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, the breeding, breed development, it's all good. It's really good for Indiana.
So, at least Nick and I have had these conversations from a breeding standpoint. One, the Breeders' Awards, the opportunity post-sale of a foal to continue to make money is, a phenomenal way to help ensure success and being able to stay in the business. I think there's a healthy mix between true commercial breeding to get that higher dollar baby and having a regional program to keep that steady money coming through. But the one thing in Nick and I's program, we're not breeding to win an Indiana stake. We're still trying to create that horse that can run anywhere in the country. And if they miss that mark and they can't run in the open stakes at Churchill or Turfway or whatever, they have an alternative plan that they can come back home and run restricted categories, you know, against Indiana sired and Indiana breds, and still have the opportunity to help
Make good money.
you know, make good money and keep your breeding program alive. I mean, people that have watched our podcast know that we have expanded our broodmare band tremendously over the last 24 months. But, you know, it's kind of quality over quantity. And then being able to have that diversification of, let's breed the best baby that we can get. If we're going to sell it, the most we can possibly get out of it is sale, but we also have that backup of, it goes out and wins a maiden special weight. That's an $8,400 check from the state. And we talked with Jessica about that. But I think one important thing for anybody getting into the business, your goal should be to breed the graded stakes horse.
Yeah.
With the Indiana program, you can shoot for that and have a totally different path. That, you know, you've got 26 restricted stakes races specifically for Indiana breds being in the Indiana program that are $100,000 or more. Plus, like what Jessica said, there's some $50,000 overnights that are specifically for Indiana bred or Indiana sire. So I think the regional program in general, specifically Indiana, is a good way to diversify your thoroughbred program to be able to hedge your bet to stay alive and keep, you know, stay in the black instead of going in the red of, you know, your finances on this venture of being a thoroughbred breeder or an owner of a racehorse. Because we have, and we talked about Corningstone with,
she's amazing, right?
Yeah. And
Amazing,
when we
right?
talk about
Almost $1 million.
Buchero,
Yeah.
we talk about Buchero, who was an Indiana bred and graded stakes winner. He ends up staying in Florida, produces graded stakes winners in open company. You know, you can get those type of horses and still be Indiana bred, Indiana sired. You know, it just takes, you know, it takes some work, takes the right quality of horse, but it gives you the opportunity to, if you miss the mark, you're still being able to generate capital. Where a Kentucky bred, if you sell the baby at a sale, that's the last chance you have of making money on it.
And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say is, just like you're saying, you know, it's the old saying, right? Shoot for the stars, hit the fence post.
Yeah.
You shoot for the fence post and hit the ground.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what a lot of the Indiana breeders and owners are doing is, you know, absolutely every one of us has that dream to be in the Kentucky Derby, right? But when you don't, you have the Indiana program.
Right. And I did say something in our talk with Rachel earlier. I do not think it's going to be very long before there's an Indiana bred or Indiana sire that makes it on the point system.
Well, Steve Asmussen just had a really exciting Indiana bred break his maiden on his debut at Oak Lawn. You're going to have to cut that out. Knock It Off. That's the horse's name. Yeah. It's a Bacoma Indiana bred. Yeah. Oh, and debut open company at Oak Lawn Indiana bred with Steve Asmussen. So I think we've got a lot of excitement in the pipeline for Indiana.
Yeah, and you know we're open. We encourage the. I mean, you see a lot of mares, a lot of babies go through the sale that at Keeneland or Fasig-Tipton, and they're not. You know, they're bringing $3,000, $4,000. Well, that's the last they're ever going to. But you see that same mare's produce coming. Bring that mare to Indiana. Pull that baby out in Indiana or breed it to an Indiana sire. You're probably still going to make the same amount of money in the sale with it. If you bring it to the ITOBA sale, yearling sale, now mixed sale, you may even make more money with it. And you have that opportunity to have that
That's right.
second source of income
That's right.
through the Breeders' Award. So, as an Indiana program, from being on the board of ITOBA, I welcome any of the breeders from Kentucky to diversify their program and invest in the Indiana program so that they have that residual capital, coming in post sale.
Now we're celebrating a lot of the Indiana breds, Indiana sires, and we are all breeders at this table. So with that in mind, I want to hear what your guys' most anticipated baby you've got coming for 2026. Humble brags a moment.
Yeah.
Well, for us, we have a Carrot Carl and we have a Sir Winston.
Okay.
So that's our two things.
That's exciting.
And Caracaro really flipped the script last year. With I
They're
can't remember.
so precocious.
Yeah, I can't remember the horse's name, but I mean, he just went out and lit the board. So he's definitely an exciting prospect, son of Uncle Mo.
Right.
Well, Sir Winston, he was a Belmont Stakes
Yes,
winner.
he was.
Yeah,
He
awesome again.
brought some stamina, and then you have awesome again in there. That's some speed, depending on the mare you got. I mean, that's going to be that should be able to get your classic distance type horse.
Be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now with us, we have a quality road mare. Her name is Go Metro Girl. Her dam is the half sister to a previous Indiana Horse of the Year named Mr. Pollard. She is due in February for the first foal of our Not This Time Son stallion that we have in due time. So we're really excited to see, not only her baby, but the first foals of our, first time stallion, Not This, in due time. And then, we've diversified our program. We do have some Kentucky things being, foals being born, and we're going to have one of the first Seas of the Grays. But the interesting part about that ties back to Indiana is the mother is a daughter of Icebox, who is our Indiana sire, son of Pulpit, was second in the Kentucky Derby, won the Florida Derby, and we now own her mom, and her mom is being bred back to Icebox to recreate It's Golden to Hair. So It's Golden to Hair is his leading filly. She made 504,000 on the track.
You just got maximum security.
Yes.
So that's going to be very exciting. Talk about an exciting stallion coming to Indiana.
Again, yeah, that's what I say. That's the kind of horses that we're bringing in, and it's really exciting. And yes, I'm, of course, for me, we're small. We only have 3 mares, so so that's how we do it. But yeah, maximum security is going to be a nice one.
Yeah,
So.
well, I can't wait to see everyone's babies.
Yeah, and let's talk about maximum security a little bit. I mean, the horse produces. He doesn't have, I think it's his sophomore year, and he's producing at the level that he's producing.
Instant Replay is going to be a standout this year. I think that's going to be a horse that everyone's talking about. I think the cool thing that Indiana is benefiting from with maximum security is sometimes a horse's storyline during their racing career impacts how they are received in Kentucky, which is not really great for Kentucky breeders, but then that means regional breeders like Indiana can eventually get a crack at having an exceptional stallion like that in our state. And I think when we pull back 5 years from now, we may be seeing a lot of the maximum security Tappers, Bob Trots.
Well, and we had more spirit in the state too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the quality of the Indiana foals, especially the sired foals, because of the stallions that have moved into the state, is increasing. Plus,
and like you said, we talked about today in our meeting, how many sired horses have won our races this year.
Yeah, and when we were talking to Jessica, she said that the Indiana sired horses winning outside of the sired bracket has actually caused them to go over budget. And she was happy that because it shows the progression of the quality of the Indiana horse.
Yep. Well, I think it was a fantastic award ceremony,
Right.
and I can't wait to see where we are next year and celebrating all of the winners and then how ITOBA grows in the next year.
Well, thank you. And yeah, I think we got some new things on the horizon, and then 27, let's see if we can get maybe even bump it up a little more.
Oh, we absolutely will.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
with us, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for helping me. Going back. Next up, we're going to go to 2-year-old Cyrus Colt and Gelding. The nominees are Mr. T, Q's Top Notch, and Mr. Sledgehammer. And the winner is Mr. T.
Mr. T. Indiana Indusrty is Mr. T. Leading on by Speedy Spears with a furlong to go. Mr. T. putting up by 4, down by 5. Speedy Spears back in his second, finishing with this from the back to Young Angus, but with a 16 left to go. He may not like magic.
Boy, after that debut race, Mr. T really figured it out because he did nothing but win 3 in a row, including the Giant Boxer and the Indiana Thoroughbred Industries Day. Bred by FK and Justice Bailey, by FK Stream by Top Run of the Year, and 140,000 industry wins. Can't wait to see what 2026 has. Justin, everybody, Justin's they're good, but you're not burying him anymore. You're gonna.
Well, I mean, Chad gave me an opportunity to train this horse under her name, and being her assistant trainer, wow, what a blessing it was and is. And moving forward, I mean, we hope he can just carry over into 26 the same way. And to right out looks that way, and we've got our fingers crossed. This is what we all dream of, and what a blessing he is. He's everything to me, and I hope I'm everything to him.
You're just very on it. Yeah, look at her. All right, next up is 2-year-old Bred Colt and Gelding, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, the nominees for 2-year-old Bred Colt Gelding is Airdrop, Young Angus, and Blood Brazilian. And the winner is Young Angus.
Individuals turned off first James Uno. Was coming with a full head of steam from Alex Bouchard, and Airdrop was quite new toward the inside. Airdrop and James Uno, and here's Young Angus who just picked them up for Joe Ramos. The sun on the fire. It's Young Angus pulling away with a plum. Young Angus sharply debuts with a 6th-length win from Airdrop. Speedy Spears is third, and James Uno.
Young Angus is trained by Randy Matthews, owned by Randy Charles Farrell, and bred by the and James Moss, Indiana. And I know Charlie had a class running his mom, and now it's gold. He went out that time last year and never finished with the second, one on debut. Second was not 86 in the Indiana Indusrty. Definitely a principal, and another one that will be exciting to watch. Charlie, you don't want to come up and say anything? All right. He'll be excited to watch this 2026 season, and I just said Mr. Randall Matthews, he said he looks forward to his drill season, and that he actually just went back to the track after a little bit as well. Congratulations to the connections and the Young Angus. Now on to 3-year-old Siren Facility. Yuki Ridge, see you in a bit. And Ennis 3 last. The winner is see you in a bit.
Spooky Red, Baby Girl, and Russell played on 2 quarters, in 1:13.05 seconds. Seated up fifth and box for the M9. Charging Dennis 3 laps, Spooky Rich Frank sustained at mid-dot third. All pushing Baby Girl, past the 60 with Marshman Nose, that's Pleasant Jr. See you up there. See you up there. The whole fight by the Lady Foghorn. 1 by 2, put Spooky Rich being back to cook Dennis 3 laps. Then Molly's pushing and Baby Girl back to the
Sure. This filly was by Bahjy, trained by General Year Bred and owned by Awards University. 2025 changed a third in the ITOBA County Fillies held it in the leading platform. It is the year. She has a lifetime earnings of $185,000. Congratulations. See you in a bit.
We're back at the Indiana Thoroughbred Owner and Breeders Association year-end award banquets for 2025. We have Jessica Barnes with us from the Racing Commission. She deals with just about everything. I get emails from you for the stallions and the brood mares and things with the races. What exactly does your position?
So I've been with the Racing Commission since 1999. I started working with the Thoroughbred Breed Development Program in 2008 and held the Director of Racing and Breed Development position until this past January. And then I moved into the Assistant Executive Director position.
Okay.
So in that Assistant Executive Director position, I deal with our occupational licensing program, our equine medical program, so everything that we do with drug testing and equine medical, and then I still oversee the Thoroughbred Breed Development Program. So we have a new Racing and Breed Development Director who's being trained, Jennifer Tuttle. She's doing a great job. She's gonna do a great job.
She's been here for.
She's been here for a while. So she was with us as our residency coordinator. So she handled all of the registrations for mares, foals, and stallions that stay in the state.
Which is how
So-
I know her.
Yes, yep. So
Yeah.
she's been doing that. And then she's moved into this role. She's not new to the racing industry. She grew up in a horse racing family. She's just going to do a great job.
Yep.
So, and then we've, replaced her position with somebody new. Delaney Bushhorn is our new residency coordinator. And we've got Megan Eads, who just moved into the thoroughbred and quarter horse coordinator position. And then we have Emily Adams, who's our new inspector. So we kind of have a new staff, but I'm really excited. They're all great. Yeah, they're all a great staff. We're just really excited about that. So
if we had some people from, say, Kentucky or Tennessee or whatever, and they had interest in being in a regional program, how would you try to sell them on why come to the state of Indiana?
I think it's one of the best programs out there for a regional program. We try to make it as simple for you as possible. The money and the opportunities keep growing, as well as the quality. The quality over the past 4 or 5 years has become amazing. We have a racetrack management that wants to work with us. So in the past 10 to 15 years, I've seen where the breed development programs were just part of the program. Like,
Right.
you had to have them because they were part of the state. Go to something to where they want us there and they want those races and they want to work with us and they want to do everything they can to make those races fill and to happen. So, if you look at our numbers in 2015, if you totaled everything in the program, we were paying out about $14 million. The past 3 years, that's been upwards of anywhere from $21 to $22 million was paid out in the program. So and that's with the number of our horses going down just a little bit. So it's a great tool to invest here in Indiana. Indiana, you're right close to Kentucky, which is a great racing state, but we've got a lot of great things too. So going on.
One thing we talked with Bruce Murphy about is the beauty of the program is even if you breed to sell, if you breed a Kentucky bred and you sell it
Mm-hmm.
and you have a bad sale, that's
Yeah.
the last opportunity you
Yes.
have to make money. Where if you breed an Indiana red or an Indiana sired,
Mm-hmm.
you can have a great sale, and then you still have the opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
get the breeders awards on top of that.
Yes.
Um,
Our breeders awards are 20%
Yeah.
of the total purse. There's been some talk about whether we can institute a second place award. I can tell you that we just have a rule going through the process. No matter if it changes to a second place award, you're always going to have at least 20% paid out in breeders
Oh,
awards,
that's
even if
incredible.
that gets divided up. It's never going to be less than 20%. So, if you think about a $34,000 main race, that's a nice award.
Yeah, and-
20% return for one horse starting and winning at the track.
Yeah, and you as a breeder, if you're selling the horse, let's say you sell an Indiana bred and
Mhm.
you're 10,000 short on what you wanted to sell it
Mhm.
for, and that horse goes out and wins that maiden
Mhm.
special weight, that's about an $8,600 award payment.
Yeah.
That's usually in your bank account by
Mhm.
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not like other states where they pay out one big check at the end of the meeting.
Nope. We pay them as soon as we get the clearance back from the lab, which normally takes about 2 to 3 weeks. And then we go through processing with, we're state agency, of course, so they have to go through state processing things. So, typically you're looking at about 6 weeks. You should have that in your check.
And
So,
another thing we were talking about earlier is we're seeing the influx of the quality of the sire program going a lot
Mhm.
higher, and that breed development paid out more because the sires were running
Yeah.
in categories above sires, whether it be
Mhm.
bred or
Mhm.
open races, and being able to compete and win
Yeah.
in the open level. And let's say you have an Indiana bred or an Indiana sire, 40% bonus
Mhm.
for running in that,
Yeah.
to the
Open
purse,
race.
to
Yeah.
run in that open
Yeah.
race.
We actually saw our budget at the end of the year. So we budget out what we anticipate sire horses to win in
Mhm.
bred races and open races. And we went over budget. So, I've had to make some adjustment, which the philosophy behind this program is that we're not going to go through and cut, that award. We're going to make adjustments to reward those horses because we want that quality to continue to prove in the programs and those horses to get better.
I think the big thing about it is Indiana has a really big respect for the fact that most of us, are small to mid-sized breeders.
Mhm.
Most of us don't have a lot of the funds that maybe New York or Florida or California has available.
Mhm.
And I really love the way that Indiana really works with the breeders and
Mhm.
awards them,
Mhm.
the big breeders incentives, and just kind of makes everything so much easier for us to be able to pay our bills.
Yeah, and we've always tried, we've always had a philosophy. The Thoroughbred Breed Development Program, there is a Thoroughbred Breed Development Advisory Committee that has 3 members appointed by the governor. Right now we have 2. We're hoping new appointments made soon. We have monthly meetings. Those meetings are open to the public. I can tell you that before any idea goes, to fruition, we take input from it. I know that I have proposed ideas that I was very solid on, and after we got input, I was like, nope, we can't go that
Right.
direction. So we really take pride in listening to the program participants and trying to do what's best for the program long term.
Yeah, and your organization,
Mhm.
the Racing Commission and Breed Development that you've been
Mhm.
in, they've developed a program that's 26 restricted state handicaps
Mhm.
in the state of Indiana, which is more than any other regional program in the country
Yeah.
for restricted. And those are minimum of $100,000 purse, and there are some that are more than that. So
Yeah.
the opportunity here, in the grand scheme of things, we're babies.
Mhm.
Indiana's babies to this industry. We might be one of the last states to implement thoroughbred racing in there. Well, no, Wyoming now.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Mhm.
there hasn't been states building a track.
Mhm.
It's only a couple years older than me.
And in this podcast or this broadcast, we're talking about the thoroughbred industry, but you've got quarter horse and standard bred that,
Yeah.
is, you take all of it.
Mhm.
Indiana's got a lot of
Right.
racing background
We've
and history.
always had the philosophy we want all 3 of those industries to grow. It's a partnership, and Indiana's always been unique that the breeds, for the most part, have all worked together. together
Right.
to make that happen. You know, they went arm in arm to the legislature to have changes made. They continue to work together. The last economic impact study, you know, we're a $2 billion industry and saw massive growth since the inception of it. So, you know, a lot of these states, when you look at Kentucky, they've been racing for years, their peer mutual programs. And, you know, we just started in 94. So 93, 94.
You know, and Caesars
hmm
has been a really good partner
Yes.
since they came in and purchased the tracks.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's definitely one thing. We have a good partnership with
Mhm.
the Racino owners
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, you know, a lot of tracks in the past that have gotten, you know, Racinos, they keep them for a little bit, and
Mhm.
the casino's what makes the money, and those owners try to weed out the horse racing. And in the state of Indiana,
Mhm.
the Caesars is a big partner.
Right.
We're
And
seeing it in Florida.
and we've been a partner with, you know, I have people all the time tell me from other states, it's amazing how well your programs work together. Like
Right.
Horsemen's organizations working with the Racing Commission, Horsemen's organization and our breed development programs working with track management. To everybody, you know, I can't say that we always agree because we don't, but we can sit down and we can talk it through and we can come up with a solution that works for everyone's interest, which
Yeah.
we try to do. So,
Well, we appreciate you
oh,
being
you're
here.
welcome.
And the awards that breed development actually,
Mhm.
you know, are the awards tonight. The Horse of the Year, Stallion of the
Mhm.
Year, Breeder of the Year. Those were all breed development awards. They weren't
Mhm.
ITOBA awards.
Yep.
So, you know, we're definitely excited of what is
We're-
anything in 2026 coming up that's really exciting. That's
You know, we're constantly looking at the program and looking to see what can we do to help things. One of the things, you know, over the past couple years, we've instituted some overnight stakes or overnight handicaps. Those you've seen them on the program, they go for about 55,000. I think several years ago we had 4 of those. Then we jumped to 6. I think last year we had 8.
Yep.
We've got 10 on the schedule
oh
for
wow.
this year.
Wow.
So those are nice, like middle
Mhm.
races that, you know, they're not as high as our $100,000 handicap stakes, but they're nice opportunities for horses to just have another, you know, bite at the apple competing in the program.
And we did hear tonight from Dan that the
Mhm.
Indiana or the ITOBA Stallion Season Auction Stakes is going to be raised to $125,000
Yep.
for the filly and the colt race, and that couldn't have been done without the partnership with breed
Right.
development as
Yeah.
well.
Yep. He talked to me about it. You know, we cover the awards for that. Our contribution to those stakes are going to stay the same. You know, ITOBA's, I think, funneling some of their ADW money, which is a nice partnership that they
Right.
have with the track to do that. So that's just going to be an added bonus for horses
Yep.
in Indiana.
Well,
So.
we enjoy working with, you know, your department of the government, and
Thank you.
look to the great things that are coming, because Indiana is growing so quick at this
Yeah,
point.
we're excited.
So,
We're excited about this program.
well,
Thank you for
thanks
having me.
being here.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next up, we have real red fillies. And the nominees are Temple Painter, Hot Middle, and Royal Justice. And the winner is Temple Painter.
Double 2 for 25. Chief Horse James looking for a cap. Headquartered of Chief Horse James off towards the red. As the coming across the front of round. Temple Painter under that round. Chief Horse James and Chief James. And Temple Painter cap. Link up over. Luke the red. Chief Horse James better than you. Chief Horse James not an angry doctor. We got it. Starting with Ben Bounding finish. Spooky Smith was third, and then it's who should be on?
Yes, absolutely. Snuggle in, everyone. Congratulations. What luck. Well, we really woke up in her 3-year-old campaign. She ran 9 races, 3 wins, 4 seconds, only finishing off the board with 2 flip starts. She won the Indiana Lady was a game second in the Awards Banquet read by the late great David Edgar, owned by Randy Block. Others being trained by Randy and a lifetime earnings of $211,000. Congratulations, boys. Next up is the 3-year-old sire, Colt Gelding. The nominees are Rapid Justice, Wanda Vila, and Sir Bahjy. The winner is Sir Bahjy.
Happening towards the rail, the lumber ballot in special team, half mile under 44 seconds. One for all, Philip from the special queen is trying to land. Happening with the well. The 3 horses, and here's Sir Bahjy, who's mounting a late charge for Marcelino Pedrosa Jr. Sir Bahjy is proudly taking a lead. Sir Bahjy 21-1. Sleeping with second, special team third.
Congratulations, everybody.
No.
Next up, we have 3-year-old Red Colt Gelding. Nominees are Chicory Blade, First Division, and Blinky. The winner is Chicory Blade.
What's the images last? Dr. Ellen is in versus the come from home. As Chicory Blades this down. Chicory Blades just put the front with Dr. Ellen is in. Sir Bahjy continues the game. To the inside is back to do. On the outside, Rapid Justice. On the Villa from the inside. And close to home with Roger.
Yes.
Chicory Blades.
One for everybody.
Bob down to the city of the premier races. Sir Bahjy with second.
Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations to the connection. Chicory Blade to the year 4 out of 5. Never worse than second. He won the Snap Governor won second in the year. He was $224,000 in 2025. Chicory Blade spread his own side just 6 and trained by a rock star. How about such a great year? Next up, ladies and gentlemen. 4-year-old Fire Mayor. Older Fire Mayor, whatever you want. Broadly, the nominee. Work It Wendy. And Imagine the Moon. The winner is Imagine the Moon.
As a commercial all these police bears breathing away 3/4. 113, 588 seconds. And the race is on. Maximum and Crosby towards the inside. The tip of the Maximum, who has the advantage past the 16. Next Trevor is third and back on. But close to home. Congratulations. The Venom Williams. Take out the Hooker. Up there, Jimmy. Cap by 3. Crosby was second. 36 volume ministry. It's much rosy.
Yeah. Congratulations by Weddings Image. Has earned over $100,000. It is not there in 5 seconds in the research. It's 2025. Congratulations. He has 7 starts and 3 wins, including the Shelby County Division of our land. Imagine the Booze Day Club. White Silly is a strike last year. Ian got me trouble with Katie. Because I didn't pick her, but I'm very happy for the connections, Katie, Sunny Duran, and Brad Allen, and Trainer. I won't make that mistake again. Next is Brad Mayer. And the nominees are Three Coats, Corning Stone, and Louder Than Words. The winner is Corning Stone.
Foul flip, 89 seconds. It's Corningstone. Corningstone for Joseph Filler. That's the lead along the goal. One of the words is kicked into Corningstone as they come past the 60. Little chili clap, his body dropped away, and then Crosby on the outside hits Trevor. Corningstone, a classic winner, and now the richest Indiana Thoroughbred mare ever. Corningstone, the P.D. Bianchi from One of the Birds.
Trained by Kenny McPeak, owned by the Zen and Arcade, driver by Ian and Greg Vader. 2024, we've been with the 2025 has been with the successful and first step to start seeing the money finishes you serve. Integrated significant reason is second and greatest signature. So you got there in our cargo handicap that went on to a lot more very successful year to do it, John. Congratulations to all the connections, morning stuff. Next up, we have the older sires horse gelding. The nominees are TJ Storm, Tis Eddie, and Kingsbury Russ. The winner is CJ Storm.
That's your CJ Storm charging up the chocolate boots. 3/4, 113.53 seconds. It is a chocolate boost. Chocolate boost at CJ Storm. As it's two nose to nose for the final 16. You have to follow the money, and this time it's remember you can push your down now. It's CJ Storm and off for the nose. CJ Storm and upside boost. Too much coffee. 26-1 on CJ Storm over chocolate boost. Follow the money, kind of memory. After that.
There you go. You're very welcome. CJ Storm has earned $346,000 today. Congratulations. You're very welcome. Including a win and the winning in your inheritance, it's too much coffee. 2025 was the best year of this round. $106,590 was read by Triple D Partners, owned by Don Moran, Janet and Charles Watts, and trained by John Moran. Congratulations to this connection. All right, you guys, next up is older red horse gelding. The nominees are Curtis, Chocolate Blue, Good Looking Justice, and Latigo. And the winner is Latigo.
In the over in that they spring to the way. It's Scratch and Pilot. 44.07 seconds. TJ Storm throughout the Planito. Mitchell Ramos, Planito lead. Deep in the final furlong. Good Looking Justice with Father Stan Dupont. Did you get the wrong one? Planito. Planito with the Planito one last time.
Sorry.
Father Stan was second. Dupont third. And the Storm is Good Looking Justice. 108.95.
Thank you.
Today.
Latigo is trained by Rady, owned by Robert Teacher Rady, thought bred by the Record and Bayer. Congratulations to you. We have started 2 wins, 2 seconds in the third. By the time out of money, he still lit up the board those before. He's just such a hard nosy guy. He won the Nobody Listens. Second, he's Brian Elmore, the Don Donna. And not only is he talented, he's a good looking guy. And Tammy told me he was a couple years ago, he was our cover model that we very used for our program. So congratulations to the connection with Lazarus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next up is older claiming Fire Mayor. And the nominees are Smoking Hot Justice, Annie Express, and High Speed Justice. The winner is Smoking Hot Justice.
Turn on that. Smoking Hot Justice is looking sharp to get spirited anymore. All begin. Smoking Hot Justice is coming to her. She's waiting to the right of the Here comes Smoking Hot Justice. With the beat of the fire to the outside, it's Smoking Hot Justice. Off his kind to take the 28 pointing of the fifth Indiana State. Spirited Annie was next and Evan.
Smoking Hot Justice came out in July. She was second on the field spirited to the Indiana State and finished the meet on closing day with a win in the Miss Indiana. This meal was run by Direct Justice, trained by Aaron Weston, and by Alexis Justice. She scored a 5 and each scored $100,000. Congratulations to this connection. Older claiming Brad Mayor. Yeah. The nominees are Hurricane Lassie, Louder Than Words, and Beach Dancer. The winner is Louder Than Words.
Louder Than Words. 3/4 minutes all by 97 seconds. With Marcelino Pedrosa Jr. Louder Than Words will furlong away as he's here by Corbett Crossley. Charging his 3 coats, and here she comes. 3 coats with a full head of steam. But it's Louder Than Words still the 3-length buffer zone. And then on the back is crossing at third. Louder Than Words tops first in the beginning. Louder Than Words, a length and a half over 3 coats. Crossing is third. Then American and
You just took your time into this. Louder Than Words is over $100 million. You got here. Including 9 men. Well, I get to
Oh, yeah.
you can say her report. Those birthday. If you want to know something, trained by Cody Green. Like Tony, grabbed by Pat. Congratulations. Come on up here. Really don't even.
That's part this car in the barn. Here. Yeah, but so trained by Tony, and she is visiting money cage.
You love those in the bottom page with the feed, right? Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yay. Indiana started claiming mail. Highest memories, McAdoo, and Sir Bahjy. And the winner is Sir Bahjy.
Alex Shazim, Spears and Mutual Star. 3/4 woman at 11.75 seconds. Dr. Allison did narrowly. Charging Sir Bob. And up Justice. Here comes. After Justice. Sir Bahjy hits the front. Didn't win Dr. Allison did. Great charge by Terminally Handsome. Sir Bahjy at the finish. But Terminally Handsome total. Mutual Star.
Bruce, am I saying it right or is John saying it right? Bahjy. Sir Bahjy. The fire signal has earned $358,841.16. Buildings finishing the money $295,000 in 2025, is putting him in the New Readers Column and the Andrew School Star. He was second to govern CFI, trained by Bernard Garcia, bred by Gloria Green, Murphy, and owned by Gennaro Lori Man. Congratulations to the connection. Next up, we have an Indiana Thoroughbred male. And the nominees are Gas Alley, Coach Knight, and Spoke. And the winner is Gas Alley. We don't have any for the Gas Alley.
$8,000 still. Down down to 3/4 just over 111. Down to 16,000. Charges Brothers Metal. That looked at glory. Pitches back to forward. There's the gas alley. Good for Rocket Seals in. Brothers Metal for Joe Holmes on the outside. Gets the win. Brothers Metal 3/4 length.
Gas Alley by 3 bottles of red by Michael Penny Lauer. Dr. Danny Wookie and the Berry Award. He is owned by Penny and trained by Mike. Last year, he ran 8 times, 2 minutes, 3 seconds, and a third. The majority of the $155,000 return was stated in 2025. He has ran at Spurfield, Colonial, and Indiana, finishing in the money at all 3 tracks. Congratulations to all the connections of Gas Alley. Now we're going to switch gears to redevelopment. And just got me so trained. She just said, I know what you're talking about because I've heard it. We're gonna start with Broodmare of the Year. Proud Dreamer. Proud Dreamer, owned by Bruce Murphy, produced a total breeders award of $78,200. Proud Dreamer is the Dan Spears, Indiana Breed Development Horse of the Year. Congratulations to the connection of Proud Dreamer. All right, we're gonna go on to Stallion of the Year. I didn't mean to preface, and I have to train better than this. This is based on total Stallion award, and Proud Dreamer was based on the total breeder award. So the Stallion award goes to Unbridled Express, sire of Candy Express, Kingsbury Rose, Neon Neon, and more. The top earning Stallion of 2025 Unbridled Express was trained by Bernie Flynn, owned by Bernie, Body Flag, and congratulations to Unbridled Express. Next up, we have the Breed Development Stallion Owner of the Year, and that is Mr. Greg Justice. Ashton, come on up here. Based on total Stallion Award payments, Justice Warning earned $149,885. Justice Forum, Greg Justice, is the owner of Stallion like Carrie Holloway. They paid them off and more. In 2025, nearly 80% of Justice Farm winning horses were Indiana sired and bred. Congratulations to Stallion Owner of the Year, Greg Justice. 2025 Breeder of the Year based on total breeder award payments is also Justice Farm Inc. Greg Justice. Here's $397,990 in breeders award North Flagler. Justice Farm has been the top breeder in Indiana for 5 consecutive years. Horses include Good Looking Justice, Royal Justice, Spirited Justice, but anything with the last name. In 2025, we were described by Justice Farm with 5 handicaps in Indiana, including the Alvin Budget Star, Back Home Again, This Indiana, Dog Ladder, and the Gary Patrick's Overnight. Congratulations to Breeder of the Year, Mr. Greg Justice. And now, without further ado, we will do 2025 First of the Year, based on the total earnings. Year Sir Bahjy. He earned $78,200 in Breed Development Award and $295,000 in total earnings. Sir Bahjy was the winner of 2 signature handicaps, Future Breeders' Popcorn and the Unreachable Star.
They'll be here in a bit. Takes a while. Not concept.
Not yet, today I'm getting come on.
Now with it.
Just now. I like the double back and forth. Makes you go for it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Bruce Murphy.
Hey, thank you very much. First, I'd like to thank God for giving us these beautiful horses that we have. Okay, it's just a pleasure being here with everybody here. Okay. Another thing, I'd like to thank my family. I want to thank the race commission, Horseshoe Indianapolis, ITOBA, Joyce and Baker, and everybody at Indiana Stallion Station. and Gennaro and his family and his barn crew, okay, that take unbelievable good care of the horses. Daniela and her group that raised some lots of babies for us. And just want to thank everybody for being here. Indiana Racing, guys, is the greatest regional program that there is anywhere in the United States. We have a lot to be thankful for. And I just want to say thank you to everyone.
Almost said that to Ashland about medical benefits. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So now we're gonna do the Holland Distinction Award, and Dan told me to say a few things about Bruce, and then he's got a nice whole professional intro. I'm gonna tell you guys, I think I'm 38 now, so I'm just but when I started, I was maybe 22 or 23. I have learned so much from Bruce Murphy, and he never makes me feel stupid. Like, if I have to call him about a breeding question, or he'll even tell me when he hears me on manual, and some of the analysts might not get the thyroid or not know about it, but he is always on. Like, this man works so hard, and he's a great sponsor of the track. He's a great person to have in Indiana breeding, and personally, just for myself, it's nice to have someone like Bruce when you can call and ask him a question that you might not know. So he's a wonderful guy and a grandpa to a million kids. It's exactly adorable, and a great dad and a great grandpa. So I'm very happy to introduce Dan to come back up here to give Bruce, I think, a very well-deserved distinction award. Dan?
Okay, this next award is ITOBA's Hall of Distinction. This is a very high, there is a very high probability that everyone in this room knows this year's recipient. This individual started training Western Pleasure and barrel horses in 1978. Moved to Logansport, Indiana, where a year later he was married. Together they have 2 children, 6 grandchildren. In 1985, he started a trailer sales business and has continued over the past 41 years. In 2005, he bought into his first thoroughbred, Delicious Devil. With a name like that, you couldn't pass it up. Decided to raise closer to home, he partnered with Joe Kane. Joe was an awesome friend and partner. After Joe's passing, he then started his partnership with Gennaro Garcia. Together, they have had some very good horses, just to mention a few: Climber, Discreet Beauty, Proud Dreamer, See You in a Bit, and of course, 2025 Horse of the Year, Sir Bahjy. This individual has served on ITOBA's board of directors since 2012 and was president in 2019 and 2020. He also is head chairman of Indiana Breed Development Advisory Committee, where he has served for that the past 5 years. His commitment to Indiana breeding, owning, and racing is top-notch. And now, for this year's 2025 ITOBA's Hall of Distinction, Bruce Murphy.
Thank you very much, ITOBA. There's been some very special people that won this award, and I'm very just amazed, and I appreciate everything. Thank you very much.
I do just want to take a few minutes to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for participating in Indiana racing. It's a wonderful place to work, and y'all are the best to work with, and you must work with people in the industry, in my eyes. So congratulations to all the winners. We love you guys so much. We have for a wonderful.
We're here with Bruce Murphy, the owner and breeder of Sir Bahjy. Sir Bahjy is the winner of the 3-year-old sired colt division and also Horse of the Year and Claiming Horse of the Year. Now, we've watched him since day one. Matter of fact, we've probably watched him since the day he hit the ground, honestly.
Yes.
Because his sire is Bahjy, and Bahjy is a horse that stands where our stallions do. We all work as a team there, and Bruce is one of the owners of Bahjy. What's the first thing about Sir Bahjy? I've always messed up his name. Sir Bahjy. What's the first thing that when you thought he was going to show you something? When did you first see that? Was it when he was a baby? Was it yearling?
I would say it was more as a yearling. Okay, he was starting to kind of stretch and grow into himself. He was always kind of out of balance. He kind of started coming into himself as a yearling, long yearling, I reckon.
Yeah. Now he ran as a 2-year-old too, as well.
Yes.
Was it a long 2-year-old season? Was it one or two starts?
I think we ran, don't hold me right to this, but I think we ran 4 or 5 times as a 2-year-old. He won his first race at 6 furlongs against Open Company. And then I think the second race we ran him in was a mile.
Right. Go ahead.
So I think one of the things that I really thought was awesome about Sir Bahjy's campaign is oftentimes when you have an Indiana bred or Indiana sired, a lot of people keep them in the Indiana bred and sired conditions, but you put him in Open Company a lot. What was the logic behind that?
I don't know. Gennaro, I mean, he works him, and and I go down and watch him work and everything, and we just thought he had a lot of heart to him.
Yeah, and he does.
He's got a lot of heart.
He's got a lot of heart to him.
And one of the big things this year, he won the signature. He won one of the Signature Series races, and he was fit second in the other one. Is that correct? Or did he win both of them?
No, he just won one. He was second in the other.
Now, what we have to explain about this Signature Series, it is for Indiana breds, and Sir Bahjy is an Indiana sired horse, so he was running against other horses that were sired by stallions that stood in Kentucky or New York, or they weren't specifically Indiana sired. So in that way, it really is impressive because it shows how much the Indiana program has grown to produce horses that can run against anything. And you've also even run him at Churchill Downs this year.
Yes, and we don't mind running against the breds. We don't mind running against the Open Companies on certain ones. The ones that you see that you think are trying, that are really putting in some good works. And I think our Indiana program has grown considerably in the last 3-4 years. We're getting better sires, getting better mares, getting better owners that want to win, that want to jump up to the next step.
So why did you pick Indiana?
Why did I pick Indiana? I reckon I've lived here since 1980, okay, and I had quarter horses, okay. So I got into the thoroughbreds, I think it was, I forget exactly what year, okay. I wrote it down and I should have known this, okay. But I just love Indiana racing, okay. We have a good breed development. We have ITOBA, the Indiana Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association, that pushes the racing. And it's a great regional program. We have a 20% for our Breeders Awards.
That's 20% of the entire purse. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is unheard of.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other state regional program that does that.
Right. And that's not to the owner, but that's to the breeder. So if you decide you're going to sell your babies, that baby doesn't stop creating an income for you after you sell it. You've got a residual in that state bred program that even though you've sold that baby, you can still get 20% of the total purse throughout the lifetime of that horse's racing career, which is phenomenal.
As long as he's in the 10,000 claimers
And
or
above.
above.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's one reason why, one, we live here too, grown up here, but the Indiana program itself is so phenomenal. We've actually started bringing our commercial mares back to Indiana instead of just breeding them in Kentucky, because after the sale, it's over. And if you have a bad sale, you just lose money.
Yeah, if that horse goes out of state and goes to California and run, if he goes out there and wins, you can say, yeah, my horse won at Santa Anita or Del Mar.
Right.
Okay. But if he doesn't go out there and win, you're so much better off if he was running here in Indiana.
Right. And if you have an Indiana bred or Indiana sired, and it does go win at Del Mar, you still get, what is it, 10%,
10%
of
instead of the 20%.
the winner's share,
Yes.
and I think it's capped at 10,000.
Yes.
So that's still even more added benefit, that if your horse is good enough to run somewhere else in a, say, graded stakes or a stake outside the state, which you ran in a stake outside the state this year with a 2-year-old that you had as well.
Yes.
So the Indiana program gives you so many opportunities to make money or at least break even in this sport that you don't get when you go somewhere else, a Kentucky or even Florida, because once they come out of the state, you have to run in the Florida Stallion Series to make your Breeders' Awards down there.
Let's talk about Bahjy, though. What was it about Bahjy that, one, attracted him to you to add to your program, but two, for the breeding that produced Sir Bahjy, what was it that you were trying to get out of him? What were you trying to amplify?
I went to Indiana Stallion Station and looked at studs, okay? I seen Bahjy, the sire of Sir Bahjy. And I said, can you pull him out of the stall? I said, I'd like to take a look at him. I seen the horse, and I had no intentions of ever purchasing him, okay? But I seen him, and I just looked at him, and I seen all the different angles, the shoulder, the heart depth, the hip, the hocks, the way they set on him.
He's massive.
And, and the foot he's got on him. And I just really liked him. I bred 2 mares that year.
Yeah.
Luckily, Joyce Baker, she calls me the next spring, and she says, we have a chance of purchasing this horse. If you liked him, so would you be interested? I said, definitely.
Absolutely.
Now, those 2 mares that you bred that year, is that Sir Bahjy?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess that worked out.
It is
And
Sir
see you in a
Bahjy,
bit.
and see you in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing I want to point out, because people that watch our podcast know I'm a pedigree nerd, Bahjy is probably one of the most regally bred stallions, not just in Indiana, but anywhere in the United States. I think there's 38 graded stakes horses underneath the first 2 dams.
Underneath the first 2 dams, which is Sarah Year, which was owned by Shadwell. She was also owned. Height of Fashion was also owned by the Queen of England.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, which is Sir Bahjy's second dam. Okay.
Yeah. I think I talked to you about this at one point in time with him. Shadwell used to name their barns on the farm in Kentucky after some of their great racehorses. And, after going down there and then looking at Bahjy's bottom side, pretty much every barn that they had named for a horse was underneath the first 2 dams of Bahjy.
Yes.
So, he was unraced, really not his fault. He had some things come up. And I think, what is he, 50% stake winners from starters at this point?
From starts. He had one other horse that was a year older, his test bred, okay? Somehow he got into Canada.
Yeah.
Not well taken care of, because I seen that he was in a sale. And I had a person to go look at him, and they said he hadn't been well taken care of.
Right.
Okay? Just being point blank. And so I passed on it, and they did run him one time, okay? And he didn't do good, which truthfully he wasn't supposed to do good,
Right.
but with the care that he'd had taken, okay? But I've got a 3-year-old now by him. I've got a 2-year-old that Mrs. Elliott's broke and trained, and she likes it.
So with the percentage, it says it's a testament to you because you believed in the horse and you supported him to make him where he is. Because if without the owner's support, I think a lot of people think, oh, you just stand a stallion and it's kind of like the Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. It's not like that with stallions. You've got to support them, and I'm so thankful to have owners like you, stallion owners like you in this state that actually support the stallions that they stand. And you've Champions Day this year was just finally seeing someone really reap the rewards because you got both of the Signature Series stakes that day too, which was phenomenal.
We were very blessed that
Yeah.
day. Okay, I mean, with the Jotties, the Corbins,
Yep.
they all performed very well. We were very, very, very fortunate.
So, did you at the beginning of the year? Did you think Sir
Sir Bahjy.
Sir Bahjy had a chance at Horse of the Year this year?
To be truthful, I did, yes,
Yeah.
because he liked the distance. The later races were the mile and the 16th.
Yeah.
And so I thought he had a shot at it. Okay, you don't
Right.
ever want to say, yeah, you're
Right.
going to. Okay, but I thought he would be definitely a competitor.
Is this the first Indiana Horse of the Year that you've had since you've been
Yes.
breeding here in
Yeah,
Indiana?
it is the first horse of the year. We've been fortunate. We've won some other stake races by some foals that we bred, and been fortunate that way. But as far as horse of the year, this is definitely, yes, this is the first.
Which is every breeder aspires to having something like that.
Yes.
And I want everybody that's watching, it takes a lot of hard work. The fans just see them at the track. They don't know everything that you put into them, as they were growing up, making sure they have all the right feeds, supplements, feet done, get to the right trainer. There's so much behind the scenes that I wish the fans could see that portion of the industry instead of just that 2 minutes or minute and a half that they're on the track. Because I think there's a lot of excitement in that, getting the mare in foal and watching them progress and seeing the baby on the ground at taking its first steps and wobbling. So
I look at my babies every day. Well, I feed twice a day. Me and my wife, we don't have another farm person. Okay,
Right.
we do it ourselves, and it was pretty cold out there this morning. But
yeah,
I tell you, I walk around my babies. I usually touch about every one of them at least once or twice a day when we feed. I'll stand behind them, look at their legs. I look at their hips. I look at their shoulders. I look at their heart girth, and I try to study them every day to see which one I think is progressing.
Now, do you race every one of your babies, or do you have a program of race and sell?
I've sold a few. I don't know how to say this in a nice way, so I'll just say it however I think, okay? A lot of people, you can only race so many. And I take 2 or 3 to a sale, and I've had people come and say, well, you're just selling this in here because you think it's not good. That is not true. I can't race 8 or 9 2-year-olds, okay?
Yeah.
I've got to sell some. And just like year before last, when I took 3 babies, those babies were all out of mares that had produced maiden special weight winners the year before.
Right. Yeah, and one thing I think a lot of people don't understand, you want to sell your best babies. It's not that you're trying to get rid of what you think is your junk babies. The best babies are the ones that are going to make the most money. So there's a myth behind it. It's like, oh, well, he's getting rid of those because he doesn't think that they're going to run well. Well, no, it's usually the ones that are a little lower on the totem pole that you keep because they're not going to bring enough money at the sale to justify selling them.
No.
So it's definitely a misconception, not only at the Indiana sales or Keeneland or Fasig-Tipton. People look at it and they're like, well, why would they be getting rid of that horse? Well, they're getting rid of it because they think they can make the most money out of it.
Yeah.
And, that's one thing back to the Indiana program. If you sell your best horse and you get good money at the sale, you're still going to have, you want to see the best farm.
Opportunity,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So you're wanting your foals to get in the best hands, the best owners, the best trainers. So you're not going to get rid of your junk.
I sold one 3 years ago. It ended up with Aaron West. Okay, I think he gave 8,000. He ran her 4 times. She won 3 times.
Wow.
They sold her at the Indiana sale last fall. She brings 17,000. Okay, 17,000.
Plus her earnings.
10 days later, they take her. She wins a $41,000 allowance race.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was,
So so. I didn't sell that one there. I sold her because she was a nice fill-in.
right.
I want somebody else to help me promote the horses.
Yeah. So, like we said, he won Horse of the Year, claiming horse. The reason he won claiming Horse of the Year is didn't he actually run at an $85,000 claimer at Churchill?
I think it was at 80 or 85,000.
Yeah.
It was a muddy day. We didn't do well that day. Okay, we kind of stumbled coming out of the gate. And some horses that scratched, and he's a horse he kind of needs something to run at.
Right.
Okay, he comes from behind. He's not a front runner.
Right.
Okay, so
And slow fractions don't work well for him.
no,
He needs a target.
I
Yes.
feel like that's pretty commonplace for winners of the Unreachable Star Stakes. As of lately, it seems like it really plays well to those deep closers like him.
Yep. Now, we're fortunate enough, one of Nick's riding horses was the first winner of the Unreachable Star. So,
And they run very similar.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I personally love watching Sir
There
Bahjy
you
is
go.
because he reminds me a lot of my dude. But with that in mind, we talked earlier that he is kind of taking it easy right now. What are you thinking for a 2026 campaign for him?
Next year, I think we'll run an allowance race probably at the beginning, and then you'll have your 3 and 4 year olds or 4s and ups. Okay, that hopefully he'll come back and have a nice campaign this year, and he'll probably run 5 races this year, and that's enough for him.
are you going to try him outside the state?
I would say that we will probably later on, like
Right.
in the October and November.
That'll be exciting.
So hopefully next year we're sitting in this same exact spot talking about him
same thing.
as the 2026 Horse of the Year.
I hope so too.
I'm getting feelings for that. So
And you know what? I think whenever I look at him, because in the past, in the quarter horse thing, we had some horses that did the hunter jumper things and the hunter hack and all that.
Right.
I think that whenever he gets done racing, I could see him being really a nice hunter.
Well, I
keep
wish you hadn't
me
said
in mind
that.
for that.
Because she's going to be like,
Okay.
Bruce?
You know,
No, I
I
really
may have
do.
a home for him.
He's very athletic. I mean, the way his hock set on him and his length of body and his shoulder and everything. I think and he's a very sound horse.
Well, the nice thing is he's a Giant's Causeway. Those horses run forever. He's sire line through Bahjy being a Carpe Diem,
Yep.
correct?
Yes.
So, he's going to be super athletic. Hopefully he's super sound and can run for a long time for you. But you don't even have to think about that anytime soon.
So
There
is
you
he
go.
going to get a full sibling soon?
Yes. The mare, Proud Dreamer, okay. She's got a yearling by Corbin, and then she's bred back to Corbin. But then after she foals this year, she will get bred back to Bahjy.
Sir Bahjy's dam, Proud Dreamer, is also Broodmare of the Year for the state of Indiana. And what foal? Was he her first foal?
He was her first foal. Yes.
Wow.
So that's pretty exciting, especially for people who have broodmares. You want to see, your broodmares get, the recognition for it too, because the broodmares are kind of the unsung heroes. Everybody talks about the stallions, everybody talks about the racehorses themselves, and they kind of forget to give the broodmare who, there's a lot of things that a broodmare, it's not just their DNA that they're passing. It's the way they raise them. Some broodmares can make a tougher horse, and some that broodmare's on the bottom of the pecking order, and that makes that baby on the bottom of the pecking order. What's kind of Proud Dreamer's temperament? Is she one of those tough moms?
She's a little tough. Okay, she was pretty tough to break. Okay, but I will say one thing: she was a very smart horse. Okay.
Now you raced her, didn't you?
Yeah, we raced her. She lost a rider one day. Okay.
Mhm.
She ran into the receiving barn, and if you've ever been to Horseshoe, Indianapolis, at the receiving barn, the men's and women's restroom, you walk into a very narrow alleyway, men's is on the left and the women's is on the right. Well, she lost the rider and she got away from him.
Yeah.
When she made that there into the receiving barn, she actually went into the women's restroom.
At least she
There
had
you
some
go.
manners, you
Yeah.
know?
Me and my granddaughter there, we just went through the gate, okay? And they said, some horse just ran into the women's restroom. I said, well, was it a filly? I don't know. So when I got into the barn, I found out it was mine.
Yeah.
It was Proud Dreamer. She went into the women's restroom, so she's smart.
So why did you choose that first year for her to go to Bahjy?
I just thought it was a good fit. Whenever I looked at him, she's my proud citizen.
Yeah.
And whenever I looked at him, I mean, like I said, first time I seen Bahjy, okay, I fell in love with him.
Right.
I mean, I really did. He's 16'3", 3.5, good bone, good foot, like I said a while ago, you know.
So is a lot of your breeding decisions based on like conformation or build of the mare and the stallion and trying to improve them by improve the mare with the stallion, improve some of the faults of the stallion with the mare?
I was told by a couple very, very knowledgeable breeders, okay, and yes, they were quarter horse people, but it's still the same.
Yeah.
Fred Banker and Barry Woods, okay, that they always went and looked at they always wanted to know what that stud's mommy was.
Right.
Okay. They said because 75% of his babies is going to be what his mommy was.
Right.
He's got a great mommy.
Yep. Yeah, I don't.
And so far, it's proven to be true.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
We have another.
we have another award, and it would be the 3-year-old sired filly of the year, which is also a daughter of Bahjy.
Yep.
You are the breeder and the owner of that horse as well, and that filly's name is See You in a Bit. What'd you think about her? When did the light bulb come on that hey, this girl might be something?
She was always when she was born, okay, she was very flashy, had a white leg or two, and she just carried herself. I mean, when she was out in the pasture, she was kind of she was the ruler, okay,
Yeah.
of the babies. And she just had a presence about herself. She just showed you she wanted to do something, okay? Out of a mare, I bought her at the ITOBA sale,
Yeah.
I don't know, 3 or 4 years, 5 years probably before that. And I didn't give very much money for her. I gave $2,800. And she's a daughter of Forrester.
Yep.
Who are good brood mares.
Absolutely.
So that's strapless, right?
Strapless.
Which strapless, we actually know another of her foals, and it's one of your hunter jumper people that has another daughter, but she had an icebox as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
um,
exactly.
but now they both have the same trainer,
Yes.
which in some ways I think that's good because that sire kind of has some tendencies. Any sire, when in a trainer that knows the Bahjys, he can kind of have a leg up on other trainers that have never, because obviously with Carpe Diem, they could go either way. They could be dirt, they could be turf.
The turf, yes.
I think it leans heavy on the mare. If you breed a turf mare to him, I'd say you probably want to get a turf horse. And I know she ran in both of the Signature Series races
Yes.
as well. What is the plan for her coming up? What is she doing now, and what's the plan?
She's just kind of on a break now. They're just kind of hand walking her. We give her about 60 days off, just doing nothing, okay?
Right.
Just let them be horses. And we'll try her again back this year. I don't know about the stakes races, but
Right.
we'll probably try one and try some of the allowance races and see. And not, then we'll drop down to the 30,000 claimer or whatever we got to do.
So as a breeder, this is the question from a breeder. Do you have plans for her to be a mama after a racing career?
I reckon I do breed a lot of the ones that I race,
Yeah.
okay? Like I had a mare that we won a 2 or 3 of the stake races with. Her name was Discreet Beauty. And we kept her and bred her. Proud Dreamer.
Yep.
She won on dirt. She ran on grass. She won on grass. She won at 6 furlongs. She won at a mile and 70.
Yep.
So, and we kept her and bred her, and so we do that a lot.
Yep.
So with Sir Bahjy and See You in a Bit both being by Bahjy, what are their similarities and what are their differences
Truthfully, they are not similar.
at all?
Okay, they are not similar at all. I mean, Sir Bahjy is probably 16'2", very scopy. Both of them are very correct legged, very correct bone structure, good hopped. And but C and Bit's probably 15, 2.5. Okay?
She's more her mom.
She's more her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's gutsy.
She's very gutsy. Yes.
We rewatched the race. A lot of her races, and for being her size, when she runs, you can tell in her mind she thinks she's 17 hands tall.
She thinks she's bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's the way she was when she was a baby.
Yeah.
She was a little tougher than some of the other babies.
So, you got any more questions,
I
Nick?
think we're good.
Well, Bruce, we're glad to have you here. Congratulations on your awards tonight with your 2 horses, and hopefully we'll see you back here next year with some more awards, because I know you've got another stallion named Corbon that his first 2-year-olds in Indiana this year did really, really well, and hope to see you here for the 3-year-old awards next year with those Corbons.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything that ITOBA does, the Indiana Race Commission does, Horseshoe Indianapolis, and these folks here, okay? We got to keep promoting Indiana racing. It is the greatest regional program that there is.
I definitely agree, and it's growing in quality so quickly. It's amazing seeing the style of mares, the quality of mares that are coming in, and the quality of stallion has just probably quadrupled or even more in quality over the last probably 6 to 10 years. It's a totally different. And with the racing, I did see a stat with Indiana racing. Indiana has the most restricted state-bred stakes races of any regional program in the country, and we're sitting around 26. But that is the most stakes, and these stakes races are 100,000 and above. So it's definitely the program that I think throughout the country people need to start looking at and participating.
Something else I'd like to say, just as far as racing, I think people, you don't have to be multi-millionaires to be into the thoroughbred racing, okay? You just got to find you a good trainer, someone you trust, or someone that you can talk to about the horses. And it's a lot of fun. You bring your family, you go, like tonight, I have my grandkids here, my wife's here, okay, my daughter, but you don't have to be a multimillionaire to have a lot of fun and make some money and have a good time.
And another way to do it, and you do it on some of the horses that you have, you bring in a partner on your horse, and then that makes it even less expensive because you're splitting the cost amounts, how many partners you have, but you're having the same amount of fun.
Yes.
So,
matter of fact, we're having double the fun because we got 2 families.
Yeah. There we go. Someone to party with.
There you go.
There we go.
Well, thanks for being with us tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully
Appreciate
we'll see you back here next year.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Racing Rachel McLaughlin, and I'm here as a guest and also helping out my friends with a little bit of an intro. We're at the Indiana Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association Awards that I have emceed for the last, I don't want to tell you how old I am. Ryan, I think, was the first person I worked with, and I was like 23 years old.
Yeah.
So this has been a long time.
Who's your part?
Hoosier Park. I was an intern there. It was crazy. Yeah. And it's been built up. Like, I'm telling you, I think back to like when, not just these awards, but like the racing. Like, it's insane how much different. There we go. Where was that?
The whole life.
All the betters you see me with, my dear.
I mean, you actually, back in the day when the track was split.
Oh yeah, I
Part
did
of the year was thoroughbred.
yeah.
Part of the year was.
And you got 3 weeks to go do whatever you wanted.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
one time I went to Hawaii, and it was only supposed to be 2 weeks. And then I was gonna come back, and I was dating. Is the only guy I ever dated in racing ever, Trent Stoller. And he's still a really good friend of mine. And Trent and I went to Hawaii, and we were like, let's just stay. And we stayed for like 3 weeks. The whole time that the track was cold, it was so much fun.
Yeah, it has been a long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even believe we ran it that way. Could you
What?
imagine now? I
I
mean,
mean, what was it? $1 million
to
to
tear it up.
tear one track up and put the other one
The
you
down.
had to
only
tear
thing I
corners.
missed is the paddock at Hoosier
Yes,
Park
I know.
for
It was so
Indiana
much
Derby
better.
Day.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
gosh.
love Hoosier.
I think the biggest mistake that they did, and this was before our time, it wasn't our decision, was when I never went when there was a tunnel.
Oh, the tunnel was so
Oh.
cool.
I know, and everybody
We
told me
raced-
how
We raced
cool it
one
was.
year
I
with
came
the
Dr.
right
Thunder.
after the tunnel came.
Yeah.
Or got rid of, and I was so bummed. So
You know, I wish they had built Hoosier different so that they could have put a turf track on the inside. But
yeah, but it just never was the
Well,
vision for thoroughbred.
yeah, at that point in time, thoroughbreds were kind of banned from the state.
You were a traitor if you went in thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
So this past year, we had a great Indiana Derby. For Indiana people, the Indiana Derby in Indiana Oaks was phenomenal
Oh,
because
yeah.
you know a lot of people look at it as like, oh, that's an Indiana horse in there. You know, it's just the token Indiana horse, and that token Indiana horse just put it to them.
Yeah.
You know, so that was exciting. Any other exciting things from 2025?
Yeah, top second in the Oaks was definitely top for me. Michelle Elliott and Chili are amazing people, and her mom Amy and I actually have a horse this year
Oh wow.
together, so I'm really excited. I've been in shout out to Joe at Churchill. I was in his a couple times, and I got into a couple with Harlan Malter after he retired with Kara. But it was like a syndicate, which I know it's so good, you know, what you do, and we tried to do that as well. But having one that you're just like splitting with someone, this is the
There's
first time
nothing
I've done
like
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to where it's not like people. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, last year was just every year we've been topping our records since Eric,
Handle's
came
been
in.
up how many
Every
years in a
year,
row?
we're like one of the only tracks, obviously not one of the premier tracks, but we're one of the, what did Bruce call it tonight, regional track or whatever, that we're gaining money. I mean, you saw sadly what's happening to some of the other ones like in Illinois and stuff, but so that sucks to see, because like you would think that I would be excited about that, but I don't want, and no offense to Churchill, I love everyone there, but like I just don't want everyone to have to run at one track. It's just not competitive. Like I love seeing other tracks do well. So, but especially ours, obviously, we're very proud of that.
Well, and especially since I feel like for a long time the Indiana program was kind of looked down on
Yeah,
by
it
a
was-
lot of people.
Yeah.
Like if you said you had an Indiana bred, the running joke was, "Oh, it's Kentucky Fried Chicken."
Oh,
You
they
know.
still, my buddies still call me an Indiana bred mare. And I'm
Oh
like,
my god,
I
I
love
love
it,
it.
babe.
I own that.
I
It's
dropped
in
2
my bio.
foals in this state.
Hell yeah. But it's
No.
just really cool. Like I feel like the state is finally gaining
Oh,
some
yeah.
respect. Like we've obviously worked with a lot of stallion farms and bringing horses to the state, and it's crazy to hear the difference in how they talk about the Indiana program and how they view it.
Yes, yeah. And it has, I feel like a lot of my analyst friends and stuff, it's been, it was what it was. I feel like, I don't feel like we had a crappy program by any means, but compared to what it is now, you know, and a lot of my other analyst friends are like, we're going to run a horse there, or we're going to be there. And Joe just broke a maiden of one of his horses there. And we've had you come, my racehorse. And just
Well-
tons of big name people and big name things coming
Crazy thing. Cogburn
through.
is out of an Indiana mare. Leslie's lady ran at Hoosier Park, and that's
This is
in
back
Michigan.
I don't even
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, she ran in the early days. Actually, she got claimed at Hoosier Park.
My very first Indiana Derby was when Bob brought Looking at Lucky. And I was so young that, listen, this is how dumb I was. I have had horses my whole life. Like, I
Yeah.
own them and everything. So I knew about horses, and I was only a year into it. So I asked, who is this guy with the glasses on inside? I felt so stupid. They were like, that's Bob Baffert. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I didn't say it out loud, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I had no idea who he was. And now, like, it's so hard when you're in this industry and I have to interview and remember stats for so long. Like, I'm not Caleb Keller. I cannot remember every stallion that I've ever talked about. I have to go back and look, but I will not ever forget that because it was my first big
Yeah.
derby, and it was at Hoosier Park.
Yeah,
And
well-
Bob Baffert came to Indiana.
The fact that Bob Baffert
at
was in
Hoosier Park.
Indiana is
Yeah.
just.
Ryan
is-
Hernandez.
Lucas was the
Yep.
first winner of the first Indiana Derby.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So it,
looking
even
at Lucky-
before, he's like a good sire. There's
Well,
been some
here,
nice looking
here's the
Luckies.
thing. We had horses running, so we had our owner's licenses. Well, you know how the security was around him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's like 10 years old. And we got there at night, and security wasn't as tough as it was. And we stuck in the barn
Yeah.
and was
I got to
standing
meet
there
looking
looking
Lucky.
at Lucky.
Yeah.
So, that was
Well, even
that was
with
phenomenal.
Those
Buchero,
are
I
the
think
good
he's
days.
an incredible one
Yeah.
to point out. You know, an
Oh, he's
Indiana
my
bred
favorite.
is setting the New York record for mares bred in a single season.
Well,
An
actually-
Indiana bred.
Buchero's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think it's actually any regional program.
Yeah.
You know, for a sire that stands in any regional program to breed over 150 mares in a year, and to think
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
and to think he started, he was born here,
Mhm.
he raced primarily here, and what he's thrown.
And now, with how many incentives are out there for Indiana breeders, that may be happening a whole lot more with the quality of the horses improving as much as it had over the last 4 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So what's coming up for 2026?
2026. I think we sent this out. You might be. Yeah, we did. We sent it out. We approved the date, so we're going to start a little earlier this year, which I'm actually pretty excited about. I think one of the things that Eric has done really well, and COVID kind of gave him the excuse to do this, but I mean, we're running at 6:00 every night against Santa Anita and Churchill and
Right.
McLaughlin and everything, and no wonder we were making no money. So I like that. Not only did he move it to a little bit earlier, the first few in April, we just run a couple days. So we're going to start on the 7th, and we're
Okay.
just going to run like Tuesday, Wednesday. And then once Kentucky Derby starts, it's going to be hit the ground running. We added a Friday. We're going to run on Oaks Day, which we haven't done in years.
That'll be nice.
So we're going to run that. And then also, there's another date that we added that I love. Oh, right before Breeders' Cup. We're going to run on Breeders' Cup, the 30th.
Nice.
An early post, so you can get there early at
Yeah.
10:45, and you can watch our races in between bet, which I just think is such a smart, like, gambling move that Eric comes up with.
But
that-
you guys will be actually telecasting
Yeah.
the Breeders' Cup at the
Exactly.
same time, so you can get the live racing
Well,
and
that's
the
what we
Breeders'
do
Cup
with
at the same
Derby.
time.
Like, there's a lot of time between those races,
Mhm.
and there are a lot of degenerates, which are my favorite people. And I'm telling you, that is just enough time, and we put our post time right in between theirs for you to bet on our races. So, yeah,
Just
that, and we're gonna add like a $2 beer and dog summer days. We've got bands. We're bringing back all of the contests. We're adding some. We're like one of the only tracks that does the contest that you can play online,
Mhm.
because we have Caesars. We have a whole like form where you have to send your ID and everything.
Mhm.
But and it's tedious. But thank God for Tammy. Let's hope she never retires. She manages all that. So I think it's just going to be a really great year. The overnights, I think that we've added those overnight
Yeah.
handicaps that we named for like Brian Elmore. I like how this was really like Eric and Chris and Tammy kind of came up with, well, let's just like keep the structure of the overnight and the condition, but then we just name it differently for
Right.
someone, which I think is good for also try not to do everything for the fans or the gambler. Try to also do stuff for like horse racing people, like the World Jockey Challenge that we do. We literally only do that because the jockeys love it,
Yeah.
and they have fun talking to each other,
Yeah.
or talking each other up.
Yeah.
Oh, we only need 2 more points. Like, they're cheering for each other. So I think we do a pretty good job of like rounding that all out. But honestly, just the dates that we got, I think we hit a good sweet spot. We'll see. Pray for the weather.
Yeah.
And one event that I'm really excited that we expand on, that we did our first year last year, was Silks and Roses.
Yep.
And I think Eric, Chris, his wife, and I are really good friends, and we're very similar women. And I think he realized that there was a big missing part at our track for their women. I mean, there are a lot of women that come out and do the hat contest and stuff. So kudos to him for listening to Chris. I think he might have, if he hears this, he might have been the one that came up with that. So, but definitely me and Chris were, yeah. So we're gonna do that and add that, and I'm excited to see. I think we're gonna do kind of more of an elevated, like ticketed event this year, which I think we're missing a little bit of like the ticketed stuff. But with the free admission, it's not
Yeah.
like for
Yeah.
Well,
other tracks. It's hard.
one nice thing about the free admission, and I think people miss about Horseshoe, is how family oriented
Yeah.
the track is.
That's what I was
It
gonna
is a
say,
place where
yeah.
you can actually go for entertainment, bring your kids, not have to worry about it, and everybody have a
Yep.
good time. At the
I
same
brought
time.
a lot of people around Horseshoe who they're mainly used to like Santa Anita or Gulfstream or Keeneland
Were they
or
shocked?
Churchill.
They were shocked how nice it was.
They
when
were
went
shocked
there.
at the community environment and how just everyone was excited for racing and everyone was interacting with each other, and it didn't feel so stiff how a lot of tracks do seem like. And I think
Yes.
that's something Horseshoe is
Well,
really changing the game on
And look
that.
how Horseshoe handles the My Racehorse crowd when they have 50 owners show
Cody
up.
Photography, I'm so sorry for the stress we may cause on that, but
The-
Indiana
the-
Derby Day,
yeah.
it was so fun to see.
I can't remember before you who would email me from Churchill about tables. Anyway,
Caitlin probably.
no, it wasn't Caitlin. It was before Caitlin. It was right before my horse. It was a guy. Anyway, long story
Yep.
short, Gary would tell me, "Hey, I've got a group. I've got a horse running," and
Mhm.
we would always take care of them. But it's become this whole thing, and
Mhm.
now I don't. It's like above my pay grade and handled. Well, I guess probably not. I don't want to say below because that sounds bad, but like nobody even has to contact me anymore because you guys are just like a well-oiled machine.
Mhm.
Like you have everything worked out, and you guys come, and everybody just knows to kind of accommodate you. And
You guys are really accommodating. I think that's the thing that we don't want to take for granted because
yes,
not
I do
everyone
pride.
is.
Me,
You guys
and
are very
Eric
accommodating.
also, I think, noticed when he got here. He was like, "I love how you guys are all. We're all friends.
Yeah.
We're all." You're not talking crap behind each other's back. Like
Mhm.
when Tiana wins, we all get in her picture, and then when someone else wins,
When
Tiana
one
might have got
wins,
six.
we
so
all
we're-
win.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
No,
we're
we all
all
wanna beat
supporting
each other,
We all want to
but-
beat each other.
But we're
Let's
happy
not
for
start
everybody
it.
else
Yes,
winning.
we're all rooting for our own horse.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna, crap on our friends' parades. And I think that is. I'm glad you brought that up, Nikki, because that is a very Indiana thing. Because I've been, to Gulfstream and I've been to Churchill. I've worked there, and I've been to Keeneland and no shade to any of those tracks, but none of them are as, welcoming. And people say that. Even people that come visit,
Mhm.
will come and they'll be like, everyone is so nice to me
Mhm.
here. All security guards are like helping me into where I need to go.
Yep.
If I tried to do that in another track, they'd be like, whoa, who are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I purposely, if I know Maddie's coming or Kaiten or whatever, I get them a table. I
Yep.
make sure they're fed. Like even, some of the Fox analysts, they don't like to sit up there because they, I did that this Thursday. That's another thing. We'll be featured on Fox Sports this year even more than we were last
Oh,
year.
that
that's
is awesome.
awesome.
Yes. I should have led with that.
Huh.
Yes, your girl did Thursdays for them. And now that I can do it, and then I'll just send someone,
Yeah.
we can do it more. And they realized that our fields, like sometimes there was crappy weather there. And it was when we would have like crisp, cool weather, but it wouldn't rain.
Yep.
And we saved them with a lot of our bigger fields. I wouldn't say save them,
Well,
but you know what I mean? It was
the
good
turf
to have.
services is
but
a
look at-
perfect example of
Yeah,
how.
and that's one
Exactly.
thing I was going to say is
Mhm.
a lot of things Horseshoe doesn't get talked about that they should is the quality of their turf track and their turf
And
racing.
how they are one of the safest tracks in America by statistics.
Tony Martinez, my baby. I love Tony Martinez. We golf together.
Yeah.
I also run sponsorships, so as you guys know, and Tony is the best to take on
Mhm.
sponsorship golf outing. He's good, but he's not like in your face.
Yeah.
But he is literally like a guy. I think he's the perfect track like superintendent, honestly, because he will do what he can do. He's not like the kind of guy that you work with that's like, well, no, we can't do that because you'll ruin the grass or whatever. He's like, look, we might ruin it,
But I can fix it.
but I can fix it. It's grass, it grows back. But let's play this smart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which I think I like Tony because that's kind of how I am. I'm like, okay, you want to do this, we can do it, but let's do it in a way that, and I have to remind people on TVG or FanDuel all the time. And anybody I talk to, I'm like, y'all want us to tear up this track.
Mhm.
Like, we run 30 days a year. We win 130 days a
Mhm.
year. Like,
It's
yeah,
not-
we're
it's not
going to be
Keeneland.
off we're going to be off the turf. If we tear it up now, guess what? It's going to be sunny and 90 for a week, and we're not going to have turf.
Yeah.
So, like,
And
you
look at all
have
the-
to be smarter than,
Look at all the
Looking in
Churchill
the future.
horses, turf horses
yes,
that come to run in the open races. I mean,
because
you
they
really
can't run
look,
there.
you really
Yeah.
look at the turf races at Horseshoe, there's more open races
Mhm.
than there are anything else. And I know that helps for track handle, but to be able to go and watch a race as a fan,
Yeah.
Well, especially now that we're seeing, so besides just turf, we're seeing a lot of these Derby horses actually getting their start at Horseshoe. I think the one that I
Angel
first
of
was,
Empire
yeah, he was the
started
first
there.
one that I really take note of. But you got Brad Cox, you got Steve Asmussen, you got all those big
Rasmussen has
guys.
a freaking whole barn now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is sweet. I think Brad and Tom Amos were probably
I
the
love
two.
Tom.
I love Tom too. Tom taught me so much when I was younger. But yeah, I think those guys were the ones that kind of made it to where, and obviously the program getting better and stuff and everything. So yeah.
Well, and look at Corningstone.
Yep. Did you know Corningstone is not the the most winningest Indiana bred? It's
She's
No,
second.
it's still
It's
Peta,
Peta
isn't it?
Bianchi.
No, it's not. It's
Oh, is it the one from
yes,
like
that hasn't even
19
ran.
something?
No, hasn't even ran here. I just texted Tammy about it. On the tip of my one smooth operator is the highest earning Indiana
Interesting.
bred
Okay.
after this year.
So is it
But
up over
it's
a million?
the only 1,100,300 or 1,030,000.
We got a new target.
Yes, one smooth operator. And I didn't want to like me and Tammy kind of talked about this, and you know we don't want to. Cornerstone's amazing, and thank God Kenny ran her in Indiana.
Right.
One smooth operator hasn't even ran in Indiana, so like I get it. I'm rooting for Cornerstone personally.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of interesting, and I didn't even know it until Tammy told us like 2 days ago. And tonight I was like, hey, if anybody asks me, I want to know. So it's one smooth operator. You have to look him up
I honestly don't think it's going to be very long
before that gets crushed.
before we see an Indiana bred qualifying for the Derby.
Right.
Derby or Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
for sure.
coming.
I mean, and it even could be an Indiana sire because the sires have increased in quality over the last 10 years as well.
For sure.
I mean, we have Maximum Security here, who is
Just
it's
incredible.
Maximum Security,
Just incredible.
Quiet on the set.
and then we have we've got I have to do it.
Max, we got Necker Island, who
we have
has
Tapper,
been
which
incredible.
was the Belmont Stakes winner.
You got it. Hey, listen.
I got it.
We call that humble brag. You have to take a drink. I learned that from horse racing happy hour, right?
There we go.
And Louie and them, like whenever you humble brag, which I do all the time. Drink. They always tell me. But
like-
no, you have to mention
Well,
them.
and
They're
look
good
at
horses.
More
look at
spirit.
that
Cornwall.
are in the
Yeah.
in the state breeding maximum security, like you just said. I mean, oh.
You know,
And we just had an Indiana bred yearling sell for $150,000 at the Keeneland September sale
I
this year.
saw that.
Yeah.
Which horse? I can't remember. Somebody.
It was the one at
The year
Deanne's,
before,
wasn't it?
there was a Midnight
it was
Loop.
Deanne and Greg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Midnight Loop.
Yeah, there was 100,000 that Austin.
I try
think,
so
had.
hard to keep up with the sale, but like from that time
Yep.
is when we have so many stakes in September, and I'm like, I can't even remember my children's names.
But one thing I want to shout you out is you do bring so much energy to the horseshoe and
Thank
the atmosphere.
you.
And I think
I try.
from hearing so many people who have horseshoe may have been their first racing experience, you guys go above and beyond to make an incredible first
We do.
experience. That's not daunting.
Yeah.
And I think horse racing itself can be really intimidating, and you guys make it really easy.
I will say, I think that is more the times than the Rachel or the track, because I feel like when I first started, it was Rachel, you need to sound more like a simulcast, because I was just a horse person.
Right.
And like I knew horses, and I'd be on TV, and I'd be like, this horse looks like it ran. Blah. Like I would just talk to people.
Yeah.
That was not a thing.
Mm-mm.
How many years ago was that? Right? When I
No.
started 13, 14 years ago. That's shameful.
I was.
Wait.
Yeah. It's
So-
the Botox,
So
guys. You
let-
can't tell.
let-
But
let-
anyway,
wait. Let
when
me
we
tell you something.
started,
I
it was
gotta
literally,
stop you. So 2 of our stallions just turned 19,
Uh-huh.
and they're 2007s. So you started in 2008. So yeah,
So old. It's more
13
than
or 14
13.
years.
You're illegal.
See, I don't like
Which
to
is
talk
really
about
crazy that we've
it.
all
It is
known each other.
crazy. It
Well,
is.
I mean, take
She was
17.
tiny.
Yeah, take 17
When
years
I
off of
first
her
met
life.
you guys, she was a little teeny tiny thing,
Yeah.
and it's like Tammy's daughter, little teeny tiny.
I'm still probably
Heck,
the same
Justin,
height.
our farrier, who just won with Mr. T tonight. When I first met him, his kids were teeny tiny. Now they come over to my house and spray each other with the hose and chase each other around. It's just nuts. And that right there is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Me and him are friends. there's not anywhere you can go and be like, well, there are. I mean, there are groups of people that are friends together and stuff, but like we're all like that. Like we
Right.
all hang out.
Yeah.
But what I was
Party
saying was,
foul.
I can't believe. Look what I did. I told him to come do an interview tonight, guys, and he turned around to tell me to.
That was a great way
Shut
to
up,
start out the
probably.
night. That was.
And then I broke my heel.
Oh,
Me and Justin are messes, and
Two
we
out
weren't
of
even
three
and we weren't even
broken.
drinking. I'm just gonna tell you right now. But what I was saying was, I think that
I haven't drank a drop.
whatever. I think what the thing is the times have gotten better. Like when I started, it was Brian Elmore hired me to get away from talking heads because
Mhm.
that's what it was like.
Yeah.
It's like two old dudes sitting up there just wah, 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 wah. Nobody wants that. And then now all of a sudden everybody's trying to be fun like Rachel, and now I'm on FanDuel and they're like, Rachel, she's so awesome, she's so fun, she's just like you meet in person. And I'm like, I've always been like that.
right.
You guys just are now instead of not
appreciating it.
taking me seriously, which just because I'm fun, I'll see you at the bar.
They had a hard time dealing.
Yes, they did.
presenting
Making
themselves
it
to, like,
fun
the
and
social
making
media
it serious.
generation.
Exactly.
You know,
And I feel like they've caught up to me, honestly. And I've caught up too because I didn't know as much as
Yeah.
I did when I started. So I feel like I finally like caught a sweet spot, if
Well,
that makes sense.
And even
Thanks, babe.
if we're talking in social media generation, let's talk about one of the interns you had this year. Sketchy.
Who's that?
What is his actual Nathan?
Oh, my Nathan?
Nathan.
I love my
Incredible.
Nathan.
But like I
He
think
just called me on my birthday. Oh my God. I'm gonna tell you guys, I was a little nervous about having Nathan. Like I was like not like nervous, but I was just like, oh my God, we're gonna have 3 interns. And like interns are a lot.
Yeah.
Like when you're busy like me, it's like babysitting. And Tammy does most of it, not in a bad way babysitting, but you want to take time with them. I was so thrilled with Nathan.
Nathan's
He
incredible.
called me on my birthday. He ended up like there were times when he humbled the F out of me.
Mhm.
Like when I was like getting upset, he likes the tea,
Mhm.
but like you tell him the tea, and his autism makes him tell you the realness.
He'll give it to you honest.
He'll give it to you honest, and that's why I love that kid. I want everybody to tell me the honest. If I make you mad, tell me, and I'll either tell you, well, I was trying to, or this is why I said that and I didn't mean to. Dude, Nathan, like he told me a couple times, he's like, Rachel, sometimes people say things like that because they don't realize that the social nuances of blah blah blah. And I was like, oh my God, bro, I do that. I say stupid stuff sometimes because I don't realize I'm offending people. And like, why am I being upset about? Like, he was amazing. And then he promotes horse racing in such a different scope. Like he's such
I
a
think
breath
he is
of
his,
fresh
such
his
a-
air.
YouTube channel.
He is
It's
you know,
amazing.
the perfect, in my opinion, perfect example of the next generation
Yes,
coming up. And
he
I think
is.
we needed a generation like yours to be able to kind of soften that boundary between the
Yes,
talking
mine
heads
did.
to what.
Yes, and now he's gonna take it in a whole nother
Absolutely.
thing.
I
agree
can't wait
100%.
till he calls more.
They're calling you a different generation.
I mean,
I
we
am.
are.
I
She's a
am.
millennial.
I
I'm
am.
Gen Z.
Exactly.
So-
But I'm a cool one though.
Yeah.
She's-
Yeah.
I'm a cool mom.
like, she's pretty close to it.
Do you guys need any drinks or
Yeah.
condoms? No, I'm just kidding. It's a mean girl quote. Don't get weird.
If you don't get that
you don't
quote,
get
you're
that quote,
probably a loser.
We
You
can't
don't
be
wear
friends
pink on
with you.
Wednesdays.
Me and Nikki can't be friends with you.
Well, and you made, I mean, back when you started, who would have ever thought that
Not me.
that somebody that's track announcing at Hoosier Park or Horseshoe would make the transition to the
Yeah.
national fan duels and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
I'll just leave it. It's just my phone. Yeah, it's honestly, and I have to give a lot of thanks to everybody because, like when I started, like I said, like I loved horses. My grandpa taught me to read a program. That doesn't make you a handicapper. I realized. Like even Nathan's great at track announcing, but he was like, "Can you teach me how to handicap?" Which shocked me because Nathan and I sit down and dork out about so many facts. But then I realized I'm like, oh, doing the
I'm not a
cutout
handicapper.
thing, yeah, is like totally different.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize. And I just naturally was good at that part.
Right.
And I just cultivated it. And yeah, and I mean, it was just that. Yeah, that's just a whole different thing, I think.
Well, I think for me, we've talked, you knew me when I was little. It was really cool to have someone like you leading that area for horse racing in my own local community because it gave me an opportunity to imagine myself in the industry. And I
Yay.
feel like there's not a ton of people that's like that. So I don't know. I think there's a lot to be excited about for Indiana, and I think you're setting the stage for the future
Thank
in a
you.
great way.
I hope that I don't get old and irrelevant.
Oh, you're not going to.
I'm trying.
Well, you'll
real
get
hard.
old, not irrelevant.
29
We're going to
July.
make sure she doesn't get irrelevant.
29.
See, I
July.
think-
Oh,
I
I have a 10-year-old daughter. Oh my God.
Yeah, she
Sure.
looks just like you.
She looks just like me, and she is so smart. And she can pick horses. Like, she's very much, I think, right now trying to figure out what she's doing. But it just excites me that, like, and I always said when I first started, when I was young, I was like, my goal is, they're always like, what's your favorite part of your job? And I'm like, obviously, horses, but the people I love. And my personal goal, nobody's given me this job, is to get younger people or people my age into this. Because, like, I mean, the
It's an amazing
degenerates
industry.
are old. No
Yeah.
offense. I love you guys. Some of my favorites are my favorite people, seriously, excuse me, are the OG degenerate guys who have come in there. They have their bets that they're betting, and they're amazing. But guess what? They're going to stop coming.
Mhm.
And if you keep making this so effing hard
Yep.
Yeah.
for people to get into, which my racehorse has helped with,
Mhm.
because that is like a feeder. And a lot of people in the industry criticize stuff like that, and I get their stance on it. But the other thing is, you have to think about the fact that you can't walk in as a normal person
No.
and get into horse racing. I
Well-
mean, I hit the jackpot by getting my
Mhm.
internship, but that's the thing. Now, I was struck by lightning. That's not something normal
No.
that you can get into. And things like my racehorse and stuff is what gets people into it, introduces them to people, and then maybe they love it so much they buy their own horse. I mean, I just think that cultivating new owners and new fans, you cannot sit there and talk like you used to in the freaking 90s. You
Yeah.
just cannot, because you're not going to get any new people. And if we don't, our sport will die.
And it's the way, the avenues at which you reach them now
Right.
is totally different.
Totally
Yeah, I
different.
mean, you're going to reach that new owner, that new fan, that new bettor through social media. That's where they get most
And I
of their
think
news.
a lot of people don't realize it's the talk. Like, do you know how many people that I talk to that sometimes I'm not in the mood, but I don't care. I'm probably the only analyst that goes and sits out in the paddock on the apron and
Yep.
hangs out. And there might be one day 8 guys that come up and talk to me, or girls, or whatever. Some days no one does. But I'm going to sit down there and talk to people and meet them and bring them T-shirts down and invite them. There was like 3 guys who came back 3 other times after they hung out with me at sometime in June.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it's just like other places, I feel like, and I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or whatever, but I like people. I
Yeah.
don't want to go be stuck up and sit in the press room and not talk to anybody. I like people. And if people don't like you or whatever, they're not going to buy into what you're doing. So
You mean
that's
you don't
my-
have a little booth that you're hiding in?
Yeah, no, I don't hide in a booth. No, and John will like be like, hey, bring people up. He doesn't care. Nobody ever wants to go there and see him. I was like, I'll go talk to people or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy. But I just think it's insane how far Indiana racing has grown, and it's something to brag about now.
Mhm.
Like, it's a really great
I
program.
can't wait to see how it's going to be
Yeah.
in 5 years.
Yeah.
So one thing we've got coming up is the Triple Crown Trail.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to be talking to you about your picks and all
Yeah,
that kind of
mailing,
stuff.
yeah.
One thing that I got drug into last year with the Racing Dudes podcast was they did the handicapping
Ricky, I love Ricky. from the
by
Racing Group.
basically your standard handicapping, and then they had me on their podcast to do it from a pedigree standpoint,
Yeah.
to say this horse or this horse
And you were right.
is not going to make the 1.25 mile distance.
Right.
So that's one thing I think we're going to do on our podcast is try to hit the pedigree side of it.
Yeah,
And
that's a niche.
so, yeah, and it was funny because I would get calls after,
Hey, if
On-
people listened to you, they wouldn't have bet on Citizen Bull.
yeah, everybody, Citizen Bull's going to win the Derby. And I'm like, Citizen Bull isn't going to win 1.16 miles.
I know, it's like all I can do to just like do the research on the PPs and watch the replays. And then the pedigree stuff, like I realized I was putting way too much pressure on myself when I was younger because I was like, I don't know. Now it's, however many years later, and you just have to absorb it.
Yep.
And even though it's been 18 years, there's some stuff that I still have to look it up because like that is so this is my point, is like you can either be good, really good at the pedigree stuff, or you're Caleb Keller that is good at both. But you can either do one or the other because there's only so much room in your
Right.
brain. Like, yeah, you can make a note like, oh, that mom went on, slop or whatever. But when you guys go into pedigree stuff, like it's deep and in depth. It's not like, oh, if it rains, the sire and the dam both went on slop. No, you guys go into like deep dive of it.
Yeah, like Whittle Citizen
You
Bowl.
can't do both, or you're not doing
his-
justice to one or the
Yeah,
other.
in his
Yeah.
first 4 generations of on the dam side, not a single horse made a mile.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and you think just because he's an into mischief, he's going to be able to make a mile and a quarter?
I know.
Absolutely
I
no
say
way.
that all the time.
You know,
I say that all the time when I'm handicapping. I always say, just because, like, I've seen horses, Indiana's bred ones, really. Their mom didn't ever run well on this, and neither did their dad. But guess what? They're a sprinter, or they're a blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it's like, really, like, you might just get one that's not anything like its pedigree.
right.
Yeah.
But most of the time-
most of the time, it's spot on.
And to be honest with you, from a breeding standpoint, and we're getting way off subject on this stuff, but
yeah,
yeah.
and my glass is empty, so
yeah, hey, bring her some more. It's going to resemble the mom more than it is the dad.
Yep, I always say
All
that
the time.
too. I'm like, I care more about the mare stats than
Yeah.
I do the sire. I do like sire first time out stats. I think that really, really weighs well in handicapping. But I look at what the mom does, or if she didn't race, what her progeny does for sure.
I mean, you
The
take a
mother maketh the horse,
you take a grass mare and you
and I
breed it to
believe
a
that in
dirt stallion.
humans as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think she might disagree.
Well,
you know what?
I don't
You're
know.
right.
I inherited some
No,
stuff.
I'm so sorry. I was raised by a single father. My mom sucks. So
Hey, same. Is that like
So
a
that's
horse
how you-
girl shared trauma? I feel
Yeah.
like that's like a.
Well,
my
yeah.
dad's my best friend. He raised me all by himself. So I think that, but we're the exception, not the rule, because you never hear of girls raised by single fathers.
Nope.
It's very rare, and
And somehow he still doesn't have gray hair.
Not
he
much.
colors it.
No.
I'm just kidding.
He might.